Dairy, along with gluten, are those big bad wolves that we need to avoid when it comes to trying to overcome our inflammation from our eczema, TSW, or any other skin condition that you might be struggling with. We do often find that dairy is one of the first things that we remove from our diet, not really understanding why. And in this video today, I'm going to explain a little bit about dairy, why we have chosen to avoid cow's dairy, what other animal dairy that we could be consuming as well, alongside all the other plant-based milks on the market. Researching for this topic online, I was really shocked to find so many health websites actually encouraging eczema sufferers to continue consuming dairy. I was really quite disappointed because we all know, and from my previous videos and from most holistic sites, that inflammation starts in the gut and dairy is a big contributor to that inflammation. However, we're not restricted to say just one type of non-dairy or plant-based milk. In actual fact, we do have a few other options as well, and in this video today I want to explain to you and give you some more options on your plate so that you can widen a little bit of your food profile, so that you can start incorporating a few more things into your diet if you are on the right path to healing. We all grew up hearing that milk was really good for you. It fortifies our bones, it's very high in calcium, and it's very high in protein and vitamin D, but we can actually get a lot of vitamin D and calcium from our greens and our vegetables, in fact just as much as in, say, a cup of milk. Similarly, we're often told to consume yogurt, and yogurt is a very good probiotic. However, we have to be very careful that if our guts are inflamed, that it can actually counteract the effect of the probiotic itself. So in terms of protein, when it comes to dairy, this is when it gets really interesting, because many of us call ourselves lacto intolerant, but in actual fact we're more casein intolerant, and the casein is actually the protein's molecular structure, and in cow it is a much larger structure, although pretty much the same quantity, and in other animals it is a much smaller molecular structure, although it can actually be the same level of protein. So when it comes to choosing our milk, sometimes we can actually find that choosing sheep or goat's milk is actually a very safe choice for us over cow. As an added bonus, sheep and goats tend to be less factory farmed over cow. Because they're smaller animals, they tend to have less hormones, less chemicals, and less antibiotics pumped into them. And I had a personal experience switching from cow's milk to sheep's milk with my son. He actually is fortunate enough not to have the eczema gene from my side of the family. However, he was drinking vast amounts of cow's milk when he was about 1.5 years. We were really struggling weaning him, and as a result of all this milk, he was scratching his back in his sleep at night, literally shredding his skin apart. We were advised to change to sheep's milk, and literally within a week that whole itching completely stopped and his skin healed. These days I have been including sheep's cheese because I still love and miss my cheese very, very much. I have had a little bit of goat, but I find sheep is probably the most effective here where I live in the south of France. There's a lot more available at the same time, but sheep I just find is just a less allergic, less inflammatory product. So go ahead and check out your local sheep cheeses. You can really get cheeses very, very similar to that of your favorite cow cheeses. So I think it's really worth investigating, and it can really widen your variety on your plate. So what are the plant-based milks that we have as alternatives to dairy if you are really dead set on staying with your plant-based products? So when it comes to soy, cashew, almond milk, I strike all three of those off the list. I think they're a total no-no when it comes to those of us with our eczema and our topical steroid withdrawal and all our skin conditions. It can create a lot of inflammation. Soy is a very well-known inflammatory property, and then so is nuts. And I think when it comes to really doing the basics of our elimination diet, those things need to be avoided. Now, if you have no nut allergy whatsoever and you've had your IgE blood test tests, so forth, and you really like your almond milk, stick with it. But if you don't see your skin improving, then switch out your milk, because this could be one of the problems that you're facing when it comes to overcoming that inflammation. So in order, my absolute favorite plant-based milk is hemp milk. It's really rich in omegas. It's a really good source of fiber. It's really good in terms of its nutritional levels. Hemp comes from the hemp seed. Don't worry, it's non-psychoactive, but it's a brilliant seed to even be sprinkling all over your salads to give your skin that boost. That omega really boosts your skin, and I cannot recommend hemp milk enough. Now, I understand hemp is kind of a special milk to find, but they are out there in your organic stores, whole food stores, so go ahead and check them out. The price range is a little bit higher, but if you do want to have that regular consistency with your diet and your routine to overcome your inflammation and heal your skin, it is so worth the investment. I keep a bottle of hemp milk on the back burner in my refrigerator for those special days whereby I might be coming up to a little bit of a flare-up, or my immune system is slipping off the edge and I really need to give my skin that extra boost. You've heard in my previous videos how great omega is for your skin. Think of it as a natural internal hyaluronic acid that literally boosts the skin and gives it that hydration from the inside out. Next up, we have oat milk, and oat milk's like a really big favorite of mine as well. It's just as nutritional as a bowl of oats. It's packed with zinc, it's packed with fiber, it's really good for the gut. It actually can make a lovely coating and lining around the gut to protect and heal a lot of that impermeability in your gut lining. So it's a really great option. However, I will say always opt for the gluten-free version, because oats can contain a certain amount of gluten depending on where these gluten milks are made. Anything that has been in a factory alongside wheat will pick up that wheat and process it through the oats, so make sure that it is labeled gluten-free. One of the joys about oats is that oats are slightly sweet, so there's a natural sweetness to the oat milk, and at the same time it's high in carbohydrate, which makes it nice and creamy as a taste, so it's a really good one to froth up in your coffee maker. As a little wee footnote here, do make sure you're reading all of the ingredients on the back of your plant-based milk so that you can understand how much sugar has been put into them, and always try and opt for the unsweetened version of your product, because a lot of these brands do like to pump quite a bit of sugar into these plant-based products, and that can also counteract and affect our inflammation. Next up, we have rice milk. Now, rice milk is a much more readily available milk, and it is one of my basics that I have every single day. I always have it in the fridge, kind of like ready to go. I add it to the kids' smoothies, I have it in my coffee, I have it on my oats and cereal quite a lot of the time. It's not very expensive, but at the same time the nutritional value is not that great, but I do find that I get a lot of my protein, calcium and vitamin D from other food sources, so there you go. I'm quite happy with it. It's very low in terms of allergens, and for that reason it's kind of the milk that I first started off with. As I said, I was getting quite a wide variety of fruit and vegetables into my diet, a lot more so than I did before I went down my TSW journey. So if you want to watch a few of my videos from back in the day, I will put them down in the list below for you in the description. And whilst you're down there, let me know, what's your favorite milk? I want to know. Is it oat? Is it one of the nut milks? What is it? What is your favorite milk, and why do you love it so much? Are you just having it just as an alternative, and have you tried a little bit of sheep? So with that, next up we have coconut milk, and I'm afraid I'm putting this in the same family with all the nuts. It is wonderful and tasty and creamy, and on occasion I'll add coconut cream to a dish or something, but it's not something that I do on a very regular basis, because it's also very high in salicylates, and salicylates is basically a natural type of pesticide that many of us can find inflammatory as well. So really do take that into consideration, much as I love it. So the bottom line is, do some experimenting, pick up some of those alternative plant-based milks and maybe a few sheep cheeses, and see what you like, see what you can add to your plate. And I think the best strategy really is to mix up some of these plant-based milks so you're getting a good variety of nutrients from these different products. And at the same time, I think if you are having a whole food diet, you will be getting all the right nutrients that is necessary in order to sustain you. So I hope that gives you some inspiration, and And if you want to watch any more of my videos, go ahead and check out some of these over here about what to eliminate from your diet if you are trying to reduce your overall inflammation with your eczema and topical steroid withdrawal. Until then, I'll see you in my next one. Bye for now.